right, so far we've used the keyword join, which really means inner join. But now let's look at some outer joins and what that means. I'm not going to be typing as much code as I did in the last video just to shorten it up a little bit. I don't want to dive as deep into outer and full outer joins as I did inner, but let's go ahead and just see what all of that means. Now, go ahead and make sure the VR is your current database, and we're going to be looking at this query first. This is just an inner join, so when I run this, it's going to get just the related fields back for us. Remember, it's the same as if I put inner join, runs the same way. Only the matching rows of each table is going to show up. Or in other words, the primary keys of the artist table is matching up with the rows that reference the same foreign key in the artwork table. The Venn diagram, I'm going to show the Venn diagram for each one of those today. I'm going to turn off the little outer thing here so we can see a little more of it. All right, so when we do an inner join, it's going to look more like this. It's going to have this Venn diagram that's representing this inner join. And only the related fields is what's going to show up here inside of this colored area here. Okay, so that's an inner join. But remember, we had an artist in this artist table, Michelangelo, but he didn't have any of his artwork listed in the artwork table. So really, Michelangelo would be over here in the white part of the table because he wouldn't have had anything that kind of overlapped or related into that other table. So in other words, the primary key associated with Michelangelo was not used as a foreign key anywhere in the artwork table. If we wanted him to show up in our result set for some reason, this is why you would use an outer join. Outer joins will show all the rows from one table and then only the matching rows from the other table. So if we add the keyword left before the join, this says take the table on the left. And remember, you could have this up here, so if that helps a little bit, take the table on the left, and I want everything from that first or left table, whether it has a relationship with the other table or not, and then take the other table, or the one on the right, the last one, and just show me the related data between these two tables. Okay. So if we run this one, we'll see that we also will get Michelangelo to show up, and he was not showing up with the inner join. The left and the right keyword, and we're going to see the right here in a moment, they both refer to outer joins. The term outer is implied, but you can use the keyword if you want, but it's not required again. When it sees left or right, it just knows you're doing an outer join. Just as the keyword inner wasn't required when we just put join. And so this would run the exact same way. All right, so let's take a look at how this one now looks on a Venn diagram. It's going to be more like this. So now we're saying the left table, or the one on the first one, the one on the left, because we're using left, I want everything from that table. So now we're getting Michelangelo, but then only the related artwork on only the related ones from the artwork table. Okay, we could also reverse this. Before I do that, I just want to explain. We didn't have any artwork in our artwork table that wasn't associated with an artist. But if we did, for some reason we had an artwork in there and it had no artist, then it would not show up with this one because we're only getting the related ones. All right, so now let's reverse it. So we can reverse the order of the tables and use the right keyword. I just put it right here. So now artist is second, and the table on the right is the one that's going to get everything to show. So basically we're doing the same thing. We've just reversed the word artist and artwork here. And now it's referring to, when you use right, it's saying get the table on the right or the second table and return everything from there. All right, so let's take a look at the magazine database. Run use magazine, and I wanted to show you something kind of cool because magazine has some long table and column names. If I open up the table and column names, I can just double click over here in my schema list and it will just pop over there, which is super cool. We can see everything in the magazine table, and on the diagram it's showing here. So we just have the name and the price of the magazine, and everything from the subscriber table. These are our clients, our customers who are purchasing the magazines, and they're represented here with all their data. And then lastly, a linking table between the two. Magazines can have many subscribers. Subscribers can subscribe to many magazines, and it's called subscription. And we see it has its own primary key, 2 foreign keys, when they started that particular magazine and how long they're paid for their subscription. So we can see it here, their own primary key, the 2 foreign keys, and the start and end date. Note, we do have a magazine called MySQL Magic that does not have any subscribers, so it wouldn't even have a connection here. And we have a subscriber, Walter Wong, who has no connection because he isn't subscribed to any magazines. And that's what makes this one kind of cool with outer joins. All right, we want the name of the magazine, let's say, and we want the price of the magazine to show up in our result set. And those values both are coming from the magazine table. We also want the subscription start date. And I can come over here and I can just double click on it because it's really long. And we want it to show up that are associated with those magazines. This one comes from the subscription table. So we'll need to join those two tables together. And now when we run this one, those matching rows from each table are going to show up in our result set. Bring this up a little. Okay. But remember, we have that magazine called MySQL Magic that doesn't have any subscribers yet. And it's not going to show up in this result set because there's no foreign key in that subscription table that matches the primary key of the MySQL Magic magazine. But maybe we want it to show up in the result set for some reason. We want all the magazines to show up whether they have a subscription date or not. That's when you would bring in an outer join. And let me show, that's what's happening now. So before, the first one without the left was, a lot like this one up here, but now we're getting everything on the left, everything from magazine, but only the matching and subscription. So the result set on this one is going to show MySQL Magic and its price because there is, even though there's not a subscription date, and that's going to show as null here. Because that doesn't have a value in it. There is no subscription start date because no one has subscribed to that magazine yet. Again, remember the keywords left and right, there is always an outer implied. Right, so anytime you see left and right, it's talking about an outer join. That will run exactly the same. Okay, now you can leave that's implied, just like inner is implied for when you just see join. Now, what if we also want to show not only the subscription start date, but the last name of who will subscribe to the magazine as well? So let's come down here, and now we'll see that we have the subscriber last name coming in. Therefore, that went all the way to this table, that last name, so we had to join one more table into that. All right, with the, let's see, with our magazine database, we can also see, let's run that, and we can see the last names of everyone. Now, remember, we have subscribers who have not subscribed to any magazines yet. For example, if we run this with, sorry, let me back up a minute. Let me just show what's going on with this one. Okay, now when we added that second table there, or that third table, subscriber, we lost that MySQL Magic, even though we still have a left join here. So that's because we just did an inner join here. So all of that related magazine that wasn't showing up in the here is not going to show up here either unless you put a left join here. And now it will be something like this. So we're not going to be able to get all the results from the first join if we don't put in that second outer join. We have to have that outer join in order for MySQL Magic to still show up there. All right, one last type of outer join, and let's look at a full outer join. But let's reverse this really fast. So with our magazine, remember we had that Walter Wong that wasn't subscribed. If we reverse this completely, we can see that we'll get everything from the right side. So now we're saying everything from subscriber. Oh, it's so tiny. Let me see if I can make this a tiny bit smaller. Maybe. Come on. Everything from subscriber here, and everything from subscriptions here, and then only the related from magazine, because we're completely going opposite this time. Everything on the right will show, and we will get this to show up. What if we wanted to show all the magazines, even if they don't have a subscription, and all the subscribers, even if they don't have a subscription, all in one query? We'd have to use what's called a full outer join. But because MySQL doesn't support the actual keywords for a full outer join, we have to simulate it, because SQL can use full outer join keywords, but MySQL can't. So we have a workaround. We simulate it with the keyword union. So now we can take the same query, put union, take off the semicolon, copy it, and let's bring back our left. So it's kind of like we're taking these two Venn diagrams and putting them on top of each other. Okay, and it's going to result in this bottom one here. All right, make sure you've got your semicolon only in the one place at the very end. And now if we run that, we will get a full outer join because of this new keyword union. So we're just taking this right join and this left join, and we're putting it together in the result set. All duplicates will be taken care of, and they'll only show one of each. So we do see Walter Wong, who has no magazine subscription, and we do see MySQL Magic with nobody subscribed to it. All right, so this might be something like you'd use with an exception report to see what out of the ordinary data you might have in your database. What would be super helpful with this one is you could filter it with a null condition to quickly just see which magazines you might want to promote because nobody's subscribing to them, or which customers you might need to send a discount code to motivate them to sign up for a magazine. So you could easily go in here and just throw in a where clause where you could say subscription. Whoops, let me grab, I don't like to write the subscription start date because because it's really long. Subscription start date is null. So we're saying whatever ones show null here. And then you could do the same thing down here on this one. And I'll just copy it. And now we quickly can just see those kind of out of the ordinary exceptions. Because if we had hundreds and hundreds of customers and magazines, we can quickly see what we might need some attention to get our business profits up. All right, so there we have some outer joins. They're not as common as the inner joins, and full outer joins are even less common, but it was just a quick look at them so that you can become familiar with them.